And finally this evening, ahead of a brand new episode of Kent Film Club, our presenter Chris Deacy joins me now to tell us what is to expect on tonight's show. But you've just come back from Sundance, haven't you? You've been at a festival for 2 weeks, so you've got to tell us about that first. How was it?
Well, it was the most phenomenal event because it's the second year that I've been, and it's in the snow in Utah, just outside Salt Lake City. You know, when it's minus 15 there, it's the equivalent of like 3 degrees here. But you know, you just don't feel it. You know, so it is amazing. Wonderful backdrop for a film festival.
Yeah.
Because Robert Redford set it up in the 1980s. That sort of place, you know, it's so wonderfully creative. You go there, different mindset, away from the marketplace, away from the city. And I felt that I was just writing review after review.
Oh, well, look, we can see some of the pictures up, people queuing, and the views are incredible as well. Was it better than last year, would you say? Was it about the same, or?
Last year there was more snow, so I was taking, you can just see the picture there of one of the bars, where actually I was asked for my ID. That's another story.
Yeah. You'll definitely be going back there then.
I've de-aged 30 years. Yeah, and but also all the cinemas are sort of surrounded by snow, and of course they know how to deal with snow. They just sort of pile it on top of each other. Absolutely beautiful backdrop. But some of the most amazing indie films are shown there, and just some of the ones there. I mean, we were talking before I went away about, you know, my thoughts on what cinema is going to bring us in 2024. So many of the films there are so character driven, you know, often your art meets reality. The sort of stories that you don't always see in the multiplex, but a lot of these films hopefully will make it onto the big screen here in Kent later in the year. So just to see the premiere there and to, you know, follow the word of mouth is just the most phenomenal experience.
Well, you made some new friends in that pub that ID'd you. Let's hear from them now.
You've been to Sundance how many times?
Oh, maybe 10 times or so. This is my 4th year at Sundance.
But Sundance is special. Sundance is an experience where you see films from all over the world.
One of the highlights for me every time I go is the very weird films that you may never ever get to see anywhere else.
It seemed like most of the people there then had been there before, like you as well. It must have been nice to make friends and meet new people.
Absolutely, and even a few people. I was hoping for somebody from Kent, just so I could, you know, bring them here. But somebody from Merthyr Tydfil, actually, in South Wales. It was quite weird to be all the way in Utah, and you're like, I recognise your accent, but working as a volunteer. But there were some British films there, including a very fascinating drag comedy called Layla. Just, you know, so that made by Film 4. So I'm hoping that a lot of those films will get a really good release later in the year.
Oh, incredible. Well, Chris, another episode of Film Club straight after the break. That's all we've got time for, I'm afraid. But in a really quick line, what's coming up in the show in a really, really quick line?
Okay, Tom Harvey, who hates horror films but has chosen 2 horror films.
Perfect, Chris. Thank you so much for joining us.